Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to a new episode. Man, this episode, before I show you me sanding the hell out of my S14 and how to ruin your paint job, I'm going to show you guys what sandpaper I use and how I paint it and what I've done with the air compressor and an air sander. I was going to use an electric sander, but I felt like an electric sander wouldn't have lasted long. I reckon an electric sander would have overheated at least. I reckon if you need a decent, good electric sander, you're going to be spending a lot of money and not like some crappy like $60 one that you can get from any local tool shop. So that's why I went and bought an air compressor, use an air sander. I can use any other air tools in it, like the blowgun as well. Helped me out so much to get all the paint dust off the car while I'm continue sanding. I'm also going to show you guys a clip where I used the blowgun to blow off the dust off the air sander disc, because when you're sanding, it collects a lot of dust on that sandpaper, so it's good to get it all clean so that way you can still use the sandpaper nice and fresh. Whereas if there's a lot of dust on the sandpaper, it's just basically not doing anything. It's just going to be all smooth, so it's best to clean up all the dust off the sandpaper and you're good to go with taking off your paint. I went and bought 40 grit. This is pretty good. You can use 80 grit sandpaper, but I used 40 grit. But for some reason, this brand, the 80 grit, this was really good. This took the paint off better than the 40 grit did for some reason. And for some reason as well, the blue paint on my S14, it was easy to take off with the 80 grit, but the red paint, you guys are gonna see, it just took so long. I used about 10 discs of 80 grit, and that's why I went and bought some 40 grit, and the 40 grit helped out as well, but not as much as the 80 grit, so there's that. Also, for prep as well, when you're sanding with 80 grit and that, definitely get like wrong sandpaper. This one. Start off with 120 grit, smooth out around the car, so this is the one that I use. And then go over the car with this to completely smooth out the whole panels. And that's alright guys, enjoy me sanding my S14 and I'll see you guys at the end of the video.
Untitled Productions.
Alright guys, so I got rained out last night. Yeah, it bloody sucked. While I was doing this, I was making good progress and it started raining, and today looks pretty promising. So I'm going to try to smash out sanding the rest of the car. I'm not going to worry about sanding the front bumper. I'm going to take that off and sell it. So this is the progress. I've just sprayed a bit of primer. The primer can was really shit, so I just did a bit of a little dodgy touch up so it doesn't rust. But so far, you know, it's looking pretty promising. Right, so the hardest thing about this job was the roof. For some reason the red paint is really hard to come off, whereas the blue paint, I just used 80 grit and it came off pretty easy. I've used 40 grit on this roof and it's still patchy as fuck. So I'm going to take a break for now and come back and try to fix up all this. And stupid me was like, oh, do you know what? I'll take this off so that way I can sand in here. And as I got to about up here, there was Sikaflex, and then I pulled on this thing and popped it out. Now I can't get this thing back in. And wherever metal is showing, like the bare metal, I'm gonna go back with 120 grit, and 240 grit sandpaper. I'm gonna smooth out all the metal, spray some primer on all the metal. I'm not gonna prime the car because this is pretty sticky and this is pretty good to paint on. So finally we got that back side of the car done, somewhat of the boot done. I still got to take out the lights and this back boot light out so we can finish up in here because I don't want to scratch up the sander, especially this. I got to finish up the rear bar, just done this rear quarter as well. Like, look at that shit. Oh my god, that was a pain in the ass to get off. Alright guys, finally, bloody finally, we've got all the windows wrapped. I used garbage bags and A4 paper that I found in the house that I don't need because I don't really draw. So have a look around. Finally got all the windows done, got the rear window done. Had to do the tail lights and this bit in here. To get a nice groove here, just use like a credit card or something and just push in the tape, masking tape in there. So you got that nice tuck tape in there. Anyway, I wanted to take the tail lights out, and as I started undoing the globes and the bolts to hold the tail lights in and that, I noticed like this black shit like all around the tail light in there, and for some reason they have Sikaflexed the tail lights in. So they're Sikaflexed in, which means that I can't just pop them out. I'm gonna have to cut them out. So it's like, screw it, I might as well just tape up all this, and you know, it's pretty promising. Hopefully it does the job, but hopefully I don't get any paint on my taillights. It should be all good. I've covered up all the gaps and we're good to go. So finally, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to grab the can. I'm going to do a light coat. So just going to like do a little bit of spray all over the car, make it nice and sticky, and then do a first coat and a second coat and possibly a third coat. And over here I've got my R33 nice and hidden under that cover because I definitely do not want overspray on my R33. give that nice like little touch coat over the car because it makes it a bit stickier. So that way when you apply the paint on there, it'll stick nicely on the car. So hopefully this turns out pretty damn good. And holy crap, I am so lucky I bought one of these, because as soon as I took it off, man, I just got instantly high from that smell of paint. I was just like, anyway, this is what it's looking like so far. Very zebra-ish, but that's the point, because we need to apply the thicker coat now. So hopefully it turns out all good. I'm pretty hyped how this is going to come out, but let's hope I don't screw it up, eh? Alright guys, I'm going to show you the process in a couple of seconds, just quickly. I've gone through about 4.5 cans, done one coat around the car. I was losing a lot of daylight, I didn't have time to set up the camera. I just wanted to smash it out to get the first coat in tonight. Then tomorrow I'm going to do the second coat, and then we're going to do the final third coat. So let's do a walk around and I'll show you guys what I've done. Alright, so I started off with this panel. You can tell it's dried. I did the bonnet last, you can tell because it's still wet. So this is first coat, by the way. We've got the roof, still a bit wet. Yeah, the rear of the car, I've done the boot, I've done the bumper. Walk around, it's still a bit wet because I just finished doing this side. The roof, what else? That's pretty much it. Basically this is the first coat. It was a pain in the ass. Luckily, if you're going to paint your car, get one of these things, trust me, because right now I am getting high as hell, like just smelling all the paint fumes. Holy shit. Alright guys, I'm going to continue this video tomorrow. Alright guys, I just finished up the third coat of paint. I'm going to let the paint dry, and then I'm going to take off all the shit off the windows, and we'll come back and do a walk around. I'm going to do a before and after, show you guys what the car looked like before versus now. I'm actually pretty happy with how it turned out. I really like this matte black, it looks pretty sick. And we'll talk more after I take off all the shit from the windows. I finally finished painting my S14. It's all done, as you guys have seen right now with me walking around the car showing you all the paint job that I've done. To be honest, the hardest part was sanding. I don't recommend you using 40 grit sandpaper unless you really have to. Just use 80 grit and plus to get all your paint off, and just chuck on matte black or whatever color you're doing. But do it properly. Don't really take my advice. I'm an idiot. This is my first time painting a car. The last time I painted something was like a BMX bike when I was like 12 years old. So yeah, I've pretty much carried that painting skill since I was 12. But anyway, I'm really happy with how it turned out. Didn't get any paint on the tail lights, none on the windows. It all looks sick. I'm really happy with it. And the reason why I painted it matte black is because I really hated the red and blue. I couldn't stand seeing it anymore. When I told people I had an S14 and I'd show them, you should just see their face and their reaction when they saw the red and blue. They're like, oh, why is your car two different colors? Now it looks pretty damn sick. But anyway, I'm going to vinyl wrap this car in the future, so I'll be doing this drift event with the matte black, but eventually I'm going to vinyl wrap it, and I'm going to break the internet with this vinyl wrap on the S14, so stay tuned for that. Alright, so I'm going to start up the car, let it warm up a bit, and I'll do like one little for you guys before I end the video. I honestly forgot how quiet this bloody car is. What the hell? I own a quiet car? I'm going to remove this muffler. We're going to go straight pipe, and then we're going to make a spare exhaust to go out the bonnet. So there's going to be an exhaust that's going to go out the bonnet, and then I have one of these, as you can see. It's a big muffler, so I'm definitely going to delete that and do a straight pipe. Alright guys, this is the end of the video. Well, it's pretty echoey in here because there's no interior parts. It's all bare metal basically. So with this job, the hardest part was the sanding. It was draining because every time I went to sand, it took me about 3 to 4 days worth of sanding because it kept raining. Every time I had about an hour worth of sanding, it just started pissing down with rain. It just slowed the process down. It took me about probably a week to do. And then this week has been nice. Yesterday was sunny, today sunny, and tomorrow it says it's going to be sunny. So I should have done it this week. But anyway, we got the job done. I'm really happy with how the matte black turned out. I thought it was going to turn out worse than what it actually was, but I'm pretty happy with it. I'll be fine with it for now until the vinyl wrap, so stay tuned for that video as well. And with this job, like, you know, I don't really paint or anything. It's not my thing. And to be honest, if I were to rate myself out of 10, I reckon I'll give myself maybe a 6.5 out of the job that I've done, because for what it is, it's actually pretty damn good, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's much better than it was before. If you guys remember the red and blue, that shit was just ugly. And a little update about my R33, because the head gasket is blown, I took the head off, took all the manifold pieces and all that, and I took it to an engine shop, and they're gonna resurface the head. They're gonna chemically bath the manifold, the head, and everything. I've got Supertech valve springs going in there as well, so it's gonna be sick. And I can't wait to get everything back into the R33. Then we're gonna get a reach and hopefully crack over, I don't want to crack that much over 300 kilowatts, but we'll definitely hit 300 kilowatts for sure now, because I'm going to change my intercooler setup, a bigger exhaust setup so it's more flowing, and it's going to sound so sick. I can't wait to pop flames, I can't wait to skid, I can't wait to do everything that I love in my R33 again. Thank you guys so much for the love and support, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Catch you guys later.